Also with us now, Seattle radio host Jason Rantz and Meghan Hays, former special assistant to President Biden. Thank you very much for both of you coming on today, and Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Jason, let me start with you. First of all, the greatest concern, really, quite frankly, is the security here in New York City. Obviously, under Mayor Adams, we had a flux of illegal immigration and crime and New Yorkers moving out. Now we've got Mamdani, who supports homeless shelters, who supports free housing for illegal immigrants, supports free Medicare, Medicaid for illegal immigrants, and doesn't necessarily back the police, at least historically anyway. So where do you see this going, and how critical is it for him to have a positive relationship with the NYPD?
I mean, it's critical to have a good relationship with the cops. There are two separate issues here, right? I mean, on the one hand, you've got the bad guys who will take advantage of any kind of vulnerability or weakness that this mayor shows, any kind of even semblance of allyship towards the defund movement and the activists. Bad guys pick up on that really, really quickly. And so they might try to take advantage and see how far they can go and see whether or not this mayor will push back. On the other hand, you've got the problem of potentially depolicing. If cops do not think you're going to have their back, and anytime they actually engage in policing, they make arrests, they get into high-profile cases, and then all of a sudden their mayor starts to push back against them or starts to criticize them, there's going to be a natural sort of lifting your foot off of the gas pedal. And you don't want to see that happen at the same time that the bad guys might be testing the waters to see how far that they can get.
Meghan, I've lived through many mayors. I've been working in New York City for around 23 years. Yeah, I started my news business when I was like 18. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that it's very interesting how I've seen where we went from Giuliani, then we went to Bloomberg, and then we had Bill de Blasio, who came in, and as soon as we had a super liberal mayor, that's when things went awry. I mean, he abolished the search and frisk back in 2014, and I know a lot of cops in New York City, they were not happy about that because there's no way to prevent a crime if you can't stop it before it happens. So it's kind of a little late to frisk somebody after they've shot somebody. And that's the concern now, is how safe are our New York subways going to be? How safe are New Yorkers going to be? And do you see a mass exodus happening?
No, I don't see a mass exodus happening. I think that it's a nice talking point, but he's been mayor for 13 hours. I think we need to give him a chance to do things and to enact some policies that he wants. The police commissioner is saying she was extremely popular and extremely successful as the police commissioner the last couple of years. So I just think that we are getting a little bit over our skis here. I agree with you that public safety is of the utmost importance. People come to New York and want to feel safe. It's a huge hotspot for tourism for not just Americans, but for all over the world. So it is really important to make sure that the subways are safe and the streets are safe. I've lived in New York a few times, so I understand completely the shifts that have gone on in the past, 15 years or so. But I just think we need to give Mamdani a chance to make some actual decisions here and to do things, because I think a lot of his rhetoric has gotten spun out of control, and he kept an extremely popular police chief, which is a really good sign for public safety.
Okay, but I do want to talk about despite the fact that he has only been mayor for 13 hours, Meghan, Jason, he has run on a lot of policy that is not necessarily pro-New York. I mean, he's got a lot of overly optimistic promises like free busing and so forth. Nothing's free in life. We all know that. But he's also already, I mean, the fire commissioner, for example, has no experience working for a fire department, but it is the first lesbian or gay fire chief. So, of course, I guess that's grounds for enrollment in that kind of position. So my concern is he going to properly police the mayoralship, or is he going to continue with these sort of woke DEI hires, if you will?
He's going to lean into the woke DEI stuff where he thinks he can get away with it, and he's not going to in places where he doesn't think. I think ultimately he's going to make a whole lot of political choices. To your point, he made a whole lot of promises that he knows he's not going to be able to keep, and he's already started to walk back some of those promises. Whether it comes to, school independence, to the free buses, you start to hear some of the shifting language because he realizes he can't get it done. Politically, it's going to be interesting because he's going to have to try to placate the base that was very energized by his very progressive ideals and promises, while not scaring off regular voters who maybe liked what they thought was authenticity coming from him and his messaging on affordability. Well, they can't be freaked out. He's ultimately, I think, going to be willing to push away the base if everybody else is happy. The only way to make everybody else happy is to not go into some of the crazy woke DEI stuff on the left. The fire chief is a bad example of him leaning into the crazy, but keeping the NYPD chief is a good example of, not leaning into the crazy.
All right. Jason Rantz and Meghan Hays, that's all the time we have. I would love to continue with you guys, but we do appreciate you coming on this New Year's Day. Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.